spot. The kick is on the way. It's long enough. It is good!
Hi, I'm Nate Kaeding, and this is Hawk to Hawk. Our show is pretty simple. I've managed to track down some of the most beloved and interesting University of Iowa athletes, coaches, and administrators for a candid conversation about all things Hawkeye. You know their statistics, accolades, and athletic achievements. But do you know their whole story? What makes them tick? Our discussions provide a rare glimpse into the hearts and minds of Hawkeye legends. Our first episode takes us into the no-nonsense world of Super Bowl champion and Anamosa, Iowa native, Marshal Yanda. This farm boy started on the Iowa offensive line during the 2005 and 2006 seasons. Since then, he's been a Pro Bowl guard for the recently crowned Baltimore Ravens. We sat down on his dad's farm in rural Jones County. So put me at the scene. It's Super Bowl 47. You guys just took a safety. You're up 6, now you're up 3. You're sitting on the sideline. There's 4 seconds left. You have one kickoff to win the Super Bowl championship. Talk me through, what are you doing? What's going through your head? You're right at the precipice of about ready to win the Super Bowl. What are you thinking?
Well, it was me and Burke on the sidelines, and we're just sitting there thinking, there's a really good chance that we're going to win it. Obviously, some slim chance, if they run it back, obviously we have to be prepared for both scenarios. But Joe Flacco, our quarterback, comes up to us and says, hey, if he just runs by and breaks it, we should just tackle him and see what happens. He wanted us to actually tackle the guy, if he actually broke it free. I'm like, Joe, we ain't going to tackle him. If they run it back, we're going to actually end up losing. But, I was hoping, that the statistics would take advantage and that we would win and the guy make a play, and he got tackled, and it was a riot. We're just around our linemen celebrating together. There was like 4 of us in a circle, and we were just, running around hooting, screaming like, wild kids. Obviously that was our dream, every football player's dream growing up to win that. And I was really happy for our center, Matt Burke. It was his 15th year, and for him to go out and win it, and he retired, I couldn't be more happier the way that went, and it was just an unbelievable experience.
When did that pinch me moment come, when you realized finally that you won the Super Bowl? Was it when you were raising the trophy, or the confetti was starting to fall, or was it the parade back in Baltimore? When did it really set in?
Kind of like a combination of all 3 of those. Definitely the confetti falling. Obviously, Ray Lewis, been a Raven for so long, and he talked about like the last 5 years when we would get in the playoffs, he would talk about the confetti falling and it having, being a special experience. And he definitely was right. Just having that, just the entire air was just, purple, and with the confetti, that was awesome. And then having the parade too was a big deal, to realize how such a big deal that was for the city of Baltimore. We go down to that thing and we're expecting the stadium to be half full. It's jam-packed, and there's 200,000 people, in the city and in the stadium. And it was just, to touch people's lives and people to be so happy for us. It was an awesome experience. Just so many people you don't really realize that follow you that much, that when you win something that big, that it's a special deal, and not just for you and your family and the Ravens, but a lot of people. So it was a great deal.
Back to the beginning of the Super Bowl again, and that build-up week, and as NFL players, we're always sort of creatures of habit, and it's always been interesting to me when you get into some of those bigger games or into the playoffs, and then I'm sure I never had fortune enough to play in a Super Bowl, but when you get to that big game, how did things change? How did you see Coach Harbaugh's personality change? Did he take a different approach? Did some of your teammates take a different approach? Talk me through that build-up process.
Yeah, it seemed like we did most of our work the week when we were in Baltimore. You had a week to prepare before you flew down. So we did a lot of our work, our game plan, all of our padded practices were done the week when we were in Baltimore. We had already game planned them. All the players we were going, we had all that done before we even left to get on the plane to New Orleans. So,
right. And are you feeling fresh? Because you've come off 18, 19 games of playoffs.
Yeah, well, at least you got a week in there. You had a week, I'd say the week of the Super Bowl when we were down in New Orleans, we were still active, but we weren't hitting a lot. So you were getting your legs back that week, and it really helped. But once we got down there, it was a lot relaxed. Like, Coach was relaxed. He wanted us to be loose. He didn't want us, being all uptight and stiff all week and be real nervous. So the practices were loose. We got our work in. Obviously, we have a lot of veterans, a lot of leaders on the group that know how to lead the guys and run a tight practice, make sure, we're getting our plays and everything's going right. But it was definitely loose, and everybody's excited to be a part of that experience. Even just, I enjoyed the practices. I remember the practices, just those practices were fun. Hey, we're getting ready for the Super Bowl, and these guys are, and I couldn't wipe a smile off my face, just practicing. I'm like, these are what, these are the moments you live for, and all the hard work that you put in the years and years, and just fortunate and happy to be, a part of it and being able to live it. And it was awesome.
I've always felt like you get to that, everybody sees that Robert De Niro any given Sunday, right before you go out on the field, rah-rah speeches.
Yeah.
And maybe it's me just being a kicker and I'm already gone out there warming up, but it seems like to me those were a little bit anticlimactic. There isn't really a great message a coach can relay in those speeches. To me, always the more poignant, motivating speech was the night before while you're in the hotel room and you've just finished up with your last bit of game planning.
Yep.
What was Coach Harbaugh's message that night before the Super Bowl?
Just be ourselves, go out there and be us. He always says, let your personality shine, and that's what we did. As far as trying to, change things or do anything different, he wanted us to just do what we've done all year long. Obviously, everybody, it's the Super Bowl, and you want to try to give a little extra, or you're going to do this and that, but he's like, nobody do that. Everybody be yourself, and just do what we've been doing the entire year. And in the last 5 weeks, we were playing really hot, and just keep doing that. And there was really no different message. The message was the same.
Did you get nervous that night? Did you get a whole lot of sleep?
I slept fine. I try to, manage my time well. I try to, Coach Doyle's thing, when you go to bed, put the stuff, turn it off and go to bed, and obviously sometimes it's hard to do. You're playing the Super Bowl tomorrow, but I went to bed. It wasn't, I didn't have a tough time falling asleep. Slept easy, woke up, just right into the game routine.
Did it ever hit you when you drive into the stadium or coming out of the tunnel? Like, man, this is a Super Bowl.
Yeah, just probably running out there, running out of the stadium or running out of the tunnel and shaking hands and getting ready to play the game, obviously, and just seeing the emblem, on our pads. That was just neat. Obviously, over the years of watching the game and seeing those emblems on other guys' jerseys, just to have that on ours was was special and neat. But just running out of there was the big deal, obviously, and that gets you ready to play. But that was neat.
How about the blackout? What did you do during that?
Oh, the blackout. I think that, everybody, my family thought that, that we're back home. They thought we were getting, it was like a terrorist attack or something.
Right.
Obviously, the lights went out, and I just thought we were at halftime, and Beyonce was playing, and the walls were almost literally shaking. It was just, you could tell it was a lot of juice. So I thought instantly that Beyonce, her halftime show, did something to an electrical system, and it malfunctioned, and the lights went out. So, and I just didn't figure it was going to be that long, and it was just too long for, and I tell people, that too long for San Francisco. Give them a half hour to decide whether they're going to be embarrassed because they're up at that point, we're getting ready to blow them out, or they can do something about it.
If you're up 21-6
we're up like 20 points or something. Well, then we had a half hour to think about a 20-point lead, and too many guys just unwound just a little bit. And we had those, we had a turnover, we had a sack, on a third down where a guy didn't block, at the end. So, it's just stuff, guys just unwound just a little bit, and that's all it takes. At the NFL level, that the competition, everybody is great. It's just the minute details that takes winning and losing. So, we just unwound a little bit, and they decided we got to go. And obviously, we were reeling, but we made plays when we had to. And I tell people, we made enough plays that we deserve to win that ball game. Obviously, we've all been in games to where, hey, we squeaked by on that one and we shouldn't have won, or we got one. So we definitely, we earned that win, and we made plays when we needed to.
Coming up on Hawk to Hawk, I chat with Marshall about his early football days growing up in Anamosa and his unconventional path to the University of Iowa.